Hey everybody, so for today's video what we're going to be doing is looking at the new fish species that have come to Golden Ridge Reserve, just doing a quick overview of those species and then taking a look at where we can find them on the map. Now I'm not saying I have got a diamond location for every one of these species, but I can at least give you a little insight as to where you can be looking for them, especially for you console players who are just chomping at the bit to get here. This will at least help you kind of formulate a plan of where you want to go to catch some of these new species. So let's get into it here. So let's take a look at the new species that are added to Golden Ridge Reserve, which is the base map that will come with the game. They snuck the burbot in here from the Norway map. They got the burbot in here, so you can now catch burbot in the Golden Ridge Reserve, the base map. Now, I don't think they added the burbot legendary fish to Golden Reserve, but I haven't seen anything that says otherwise. So who knows? Maybe even if they don't have it now, maybe sometime in the future. I don't know. You can get these guys, shallow lakes, deep lakes, upriver. Pretty much a lot of places where you can get catfish. I've caught burbot. I've only got one, so don't have a whole lot of information on them. But the black crappie, on the other hand, they're an awesome species. They just came to the game brand new, not on either map. Let's take a look for the black crappie. Really, where I've seen most people catching black crappie is here, right outside the main area here. That's where I got mine as well. I've seen some people all around here too. Really, with the black crappie, it seems like the areas of the map that you would feel that seem a little bit warmer, a little bit lower altitude, is generally where I've seen the black crappie being caught. Definitely all around this main starter lake here, and then I believe I've seen some black crappie out here in this area as well. Don't quote me on that, but that would be worth checking out. So, but definitely all in this area. All on this starter lake, great area for black crappie. Now, the tiger muskie. This is an awesome fish, and they are kind of like, they seem like they're everywhere. Those two, I know for a fact, I see tiger muskie getting caught here, here, here. I've caught tiger muskie out here. Tiger muskie been down here. I've caught tiger muskie here. And then tiger muskie, I see big gold tiger muskie get pulled out of this lake all the time. So those are definitely some good hot spots. Definitely a lot of golds here. I've seen a few golds on the main lake here, but most of the golds I see are pulled out of this southern lake here. Now, let's go back to our next fish species, the next new one, which is my personal favorite, the shovel-nosed sturgeon. The sturgeon really... I've looked at a lot of places for the sturgeon, and primarily I found sturgeon on the beginner lake, right? Sturgeon here, sturgeon all up in here. I've seen a diamond caught here, Tony from DoorDash. If you watch any of my streams, seen some videos, you know I talk about Tony all the time. Really good at this game. I've seen him catch a diamond there. There's sturgeon all over here. Sturgeon all in these rivers. I caught a sturgeon here. I caught sturgeon all the way up here. I started working this river. There's sturgeon there. There's sturgeon here. You can probably catch them all along here. But this riverway, great for sturgeon. Sturgeon all down here. Caught a lot of sturgeon down here. Sturgeon all throughout here. I've seen sturgeon caught here as well. Now, I did go fishing down here because this is not an area that I fished regularly before this update. And I did go down here. I saw some small sturgeon down here, but I wasn't able to actually catch any. But I did see some down there in the water. So really, the best place for sturgeon, if I were you, I would just start on this main lake. I know diamonds have been caught at this bridge here. That's a great place to go. Okay, now let's see here. Our next one, the green sunfish. Green sunfish are sort of like the crappie. They're in very similar areas. You get green sunfish all along this area, green sunfish in here. I've not caught any or seen any caught down in this area, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were along the banks and everything here. I wouldn't be surprised if you're catching sunfish in here. If you're catching sunfish here, would not be surprised there. Now I have caught sunfish here, and I saw some big gold sunfish come out of here. So I didn't catch them, but I saw people catching them in this area. I wouldn't be surprised if you found sunfish here. Again, sunfish being a panfish, I would really focus on the lower altitudes, the almost a little warmer climates, if you will, for those sunfish. Now let's go back. Now we got these trout species: the brook trout, cutthroat trout, the orid trout. With those species, I've caught one of each, and I've caught them kind of all over, right? And with the trout species, like I can even show you here, orid trout here. You've got, it doesn't say there. I don't know if they're in these lakes, but you've got them here. I've got cutthroat trout here. Let's see. I've caught cutthroats here. I know I've caught some brook trout up here. I've caught I think all 3 trout types in this lake here. Yep. Brook, cutthroat. I don't know if orid are in there actually, but I have caught orid trout I've caught orid trout all around here. So with the trout, my best advice if you're looking for the trout species is to focus on higher altitudes. So you're going to want to go around the edges of the map here. Like if you look here around the edges of the map, you want to look near the rivers, river mouths, all of that good stuff here. These smaller lakes are really good. This is a good lake. Those higher elevation areas, those are going to be great for trout. And that goes for rainbow trout as well. And then if you go over here, this is the hot springs area. If you go up into the mountains, if you follow this mountain road here, these string of lakes here, great for trout. And then as well as this general area here, very good for trout. So think higher elevations, think colder environment. That's really going to be a good place for these new trout species. And that goes for all 3 of them. I don't have, I got orid trout here in this high altitude river. I don't have diamond spots, gold locations where you're going to get guaranteed. Yeah, we're still looking. Everybody's still looking. Everybody's still exploring the map. But those are really good spots to find those. Okay, let's look here. And then our last new species is the walleye. The walleye, now I found them in pretty much the same places that I found the sturgeon. So anywhere you see sturgeon, I have found walleye. I haven't tried for walleye here, but I would imagine there's probably walleye there. But I really all around this main lake for walleye. I believe I've seen walleye caught on other portions of the map. I believe there's walleye out here. If I remember correctly, I have seen them, but when I see somebody pull a walleye out and I check the map, it's usually on this main lake here. I think Scarecrow caught his walleye up here. I believe it was a diamond walleye. You'll have to go to Scarecrow's channel. If you don't know, Scarecrow the Hunter, he does a lot of the Call the Wild content, mostly the Hunter Call the Wild. Although I'm getting him into the Angler a lot more. He's getting really excited about it. He's got a good video on his diamond walleye if you want to look at a diamond location. But again, walleye around the same areas. And that kind of brings me to my next point is the night cycle and the day cycle have really, really changed the way I think about fishing on this map. So the night fish, the fish that strike most at night, the burbot, the catfish, the sturgeon, and the walleye, those are all fish. And I don't know about the lake trout. I kind of feel like they're more active at night too. But definitely the walleye, channel cats, the burbot, and the sturgeon, and the sauger, all very, very, very active at night. And generally, you can use some of the similar baits for them. The sturgeon, I have had the most success off of cheese and red worm, but I've also got a lot of them off minnows too. And with minnows, you can get a little bit higher, a little bit bigger hook size. Same with the cheese. Then you cut off like a red worm or eggs. And then the walleye, I get really good luck on minnows with the walleye. I haven't tried leeches yet, but I hear they work really well. Obviously, they're their number one, bait preference here. But that's another really awesome thing because, the channel cats, they're gonna go for cheese. It's a lot. The burbots, liver, shad, red worm, they'll still go for minnows. They'll still go for cheese as well. It's a lot of very similar baits for these night fish, and so it makes for a really exciting, really varied fishing experience. But the fact that there's a lot of overlap in some of these species that are coexisting with each other, and it makes sense ecologically. If all the species that are living in a similar lake are probably going to have a similar food source. But one struggle that I have really found is when I'm fishing for crappie, they share a lot of the same space as the smallmouth and largemouth bass, and they eat a lot of the same stuff. So when I'm going for crappie, I always end up with 2 or 3 times the amount of bass than I do crappie. So if you have a spot that consistently just delivers crappie and not bass, please let me know in the comments, because I've been looking so hard for a good crappie spot where I'm not constantly catching bass. But if you find one, let me know. Put it in the comments. If you got some other good spots, if you have a spot where you caught 2 or 3 diamonds of a particular species and you think this is a really good hot spot, let me know. That would be awesome. Put that in the comments. Or if you want to see anything in particular, or if you're having a lot of trouble with one particular species and you'd like some help, also, like I said, put it in the comments. I read those every day. I try to respond to any questions that I have, within a day or two. So please let me know. But that's really the most information I have on all these new fish species. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot more I'm going to be learning here in the next few weeks. So I'm going to have a ton of videos coming out on everything I learned. And if I get a really good, consistent hotspot where I'm seeing, lots of diamonds of particular species being put out, you bet I'm going to have a diamond guide going to it. So anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. I'll see you guys in the next video.